So ultimately, for the most part, I think that the whole thing in itself is a mystery to one's understanding of of reality, right? But I think we ulti- ultimately we get there as long as we introspect, in the correct understanding of what it is that what that purpose is that has created the world that we um, inhabit. And the world that we inhabit is there's multiple layers to it, which is what people are always expressing in regards to. But I think we're so used to it that it's not special anymore, right? That's one of the main fundamental things is that we're so used to the perception of the world that it's no longer special. So it's to take a moment and the to find the relevance or the beauty and speciality within this world, and then from then on we can then progress onwards to other more what people might consider other more sort of interesting things. But for me, like I'm just sitting here and processing information. I'm processing information in different ways. On one part, I'm like, have y'all G checked if Musashi, if Miyamoto is actually like is he actually dead? Like, whatever happened to that guy, man? That nigga, like, he did a 160, fam. I think I can't remember how his story ended. Right? I definitely know that there was something to do with the sword and kneeling, and there was like some time that elapsed. But that's all I know. Really, I don't really know much about. Like I think his last thing was like he was in that stance of defense. But again, at the same time, I'm just chilling and I'm like, if you a G check that nigga, man, do y'all know what's going on with that brother? Cause you know, like first and foremost, right? For me, even in this whole thing, right? Like I'm not some dick or nothing. Like I ain't like some prick who goes around fucking G checking people. I ain't no fucking caretaker or nothing like that, bro. So I don't do them things there. Um, in regards to that, I think that's a even hefty topic to even get into. But I think that before you even begin to approach that, you should obviously, because it comes to yourself as well. Like me, there was a different night I was out, yeah, and I was just walking in one crowd there, and then this guy walked past. Right, he said hello to man. I said hello, cool, whatever. Guy continued walking past, but the thing was that he had the death. The skull, the skull and crossbone thing, and I was looking at it, and I was walking, I just waving in this crowd here, and then it just hit me like, that's what time is like. That's what the stream of time is like. It's just like a stream, kind of like a crowd of different people walking a different consciousness level with each their own agenda, right? Without anybody having to have any inference on anybody else. And death is always there. And this guy was just like walking in front of me, and I'm just like, I just looked and came to the realization that the notion of death is always there. And if you're wise enough, or if you are awake enough, you can encounter it and become aware of its presence. But interacting with it is not as easy as one might fathom, right? Even though I was aware that this person's there, but obviously the interactions there, I had to think about it twice. I was like, bro, do I want to chat to this guy? Like, do I want to go? Do I want to do I want to interact and try to understand further? Do I want to probe this thing further? And I was just like to myself, you know what? At the same time, the environment that I'm in, where I'm going to at that particular time, it has more relevance to me at the moment than trying to meet new people in whatever avenues that I feel might be of an interesting avenues for aspect or adventures or something like that. But for me, I just left it the way it is, right? Because that wasn't really the key focus at the time. I think for me, in that, I learned a lesson or I was taught a lesson without my awareness, right? And I think ultimately for me that held some level of value in the long run, because obviously there was more objective things that I was currently presently doing rather than, so it's to focus on what's there now, and and I think that with death it becomes what it is when it needs to be. You don't need to run to it. You just need to understand that it's always present, it's always looming. Don't, when you come to talk about evil spirits and stuff like that, don't be misguided by things that will tell you that this is the direction to go. This is where you have to, that's where the epoch is. Or somebody tells you that, oh yeah, this is where, like they have that aspect of control over it, right? If somebody decides, okay, cool, I'm gonna take this nigga's life, right, or whatever, in order to expedite the process, that's not them doing it, but it's actually rather a causation of your point with death, like your aspectual meeting point with death, rather than their own conscious aspect of it. So there's a direct differential there. The causation is a bit weird, but I believe that it. I think if you watch the Cube 2, you'd understand what I'm talking about. If you look, I don't know what is a guy named Ed. I don't know. There's a guy in there. Yeah, there's two of them, right? One of them is more raggedy. Like one of them is more like he's road. He's like he's street. He's like he's some gangster dude or gangster whatever. Back white whatever, right? Just like in terms of like man's persona and perspective. And then the other guy is more like a nerdy sort of like, works on computers and stuff like that. So if you look at their relationship and what happens between them, you start to begin to understand the notion and the conceptual aspects of death and other things. So yeah, so if you want to learn about these things, man, you gotta check out the Cube, man. If you don't check out the Cube, man, you won't really get it for the most part. Yeah. Well, I don't even get it, man. Like I keep telling y'all, man. For me, it's fucked up, man. There's so many things right now, but I understand it as I do, and I think that also, like in reality, like I always say, there's the realization, and then the realization fades away, and then it becomes. Sometimes it comes, sometimes it doesn't, and I think that when the realization does come, it's actually kind of beautiful, if you could perceive it. Because it's a thought, right? So it's a thought, but I find it to be a beautiful thought that one can experience in this zone of existence, and I think that it's just that knowing, that getting it, that understanding it, and yeah, that's pretty much that. But most part, everything's pretty much the same. They got. Some interesting things, like sexual wise, like I haven't used the VR thing in a while. I used to do the VR things. I don't know if you ever seen that on the other YouTube channel. I used to be down with the VR stuff, so I haven't actually delved down that route in a long time. But here the VR is exquisitely more real. Price cost wise, similar vibes. There ain't no real differential. Like you got people everywhere, and I think a lot of the people that I know anyway use that term a lot, and I think that it can be used as an aspectual thing, right? Rather than it having to be an insult, it can be used similar way as how black people might say, "What up, my nigga," or something like that. Even though that term has a negative connotation, it can also hold a more significant, more powerful meaning behind it. So I think we can use that term like that, but I haven't actually asked anyone to know if that's actually a valid thing. But yeah, man, there's a couple there. As it's more so augmented reality, right? So the reality, the virtual reality experience is enhanced greatly. Cost-wise, a bit more expensive, but I guess it depends on where you are and where you go. Like I got stories, man. I've been 1-2 places, man. I'm just like for me, yeah, the thing that I don't like is like I can't just relax, and you gotta keep an eye on things, you don't always get your proper change back and all that type of shit. Like these people bro, even if it's 10, you know, even if it's like, even if my change is only like, let's say like a pound or 50p or whatever, I still want that pound or 50p, y'all. That's still something, man. You still gotta drop that. So I think respectful that way, it's a bit more differential, because obviously the VR experience has been highly enhanced to an augmented reality 3D full body experience, Um, so that's kind of difficult. But yeah, for me personally, I haven't really found anywhere that's actually cool enough for me to just be able to go in and just like, and I haven't really explored it too much though. But obviously, man just wants to go in, chill, sit down, buy a couple of drinks most of the time, and just relax, And because obviously, like bud in this world, it's actually legal at this time frame, so that's another factor to factor in. Um, yeah, so that's another factor to factor in. So basically, I just go through, just piff sometimes, and I just don't want to vibe too much, man. Man just wants to just chill down and drink. But then it's like, there's always this like pressure of just not being able to just sit down and just relax with some women in the place. Somewhat, you can consider them strip clubs, but they're definitely quite differential. It's very different to strip clubs because the rules, because strip clubs are quite limited, whereas this is not. This does not seem limited at all, bro, from my viewpoint anyway. So that's what I mean by the augmented VR mechanism has highly increased from my understanding of things. But yes, I'm still looking at those. I haven't really found one that's majorly vibey. But the one that I go to, I think it's in a mainly like somewhat populated area, so it's quite difficult to actually to just vibe, to just vibe. Hey, nigga, just gonna drink, nigga, just get intoxicated, fuck around with the neurons for a bit. And if I happen to be, but I think it's more respectful if I go with a budget for spending. But it's just like the way that I was in the VR thing. Like, so most of the times I'll just be chilling, chatting to somebody, or I'll just be chilling, looking at some bitch, trying to prop their consciousness and trying to fudge around with who they are. But they obviously, even to fudge around with consciousness, you have to pay a little bit. But not the most, right? But you have to pay something, and then after that you can have your ability to fudge around with the consciousness as much as you want based on whatever time frame that you define for that particular aspect of attention or company, whatever you want to call it. I don't really know. So yeah, so I'm still vibing, still exploring the place, seeing what it's like. But definitely there isn't really that vibe where you can just chill and just relax and just YOLO, so yeah, so that's pretty much that really. You can definitely vibe, like, but I don't have enough money to vibe properly. I think because and also I don't want to be too. So that's another thing as well. You don't want to get too drunk as well. So even if you're just drinking, I don't know. That's the thing, man. I don't know what these be like, bro. What their rules are like, but obviously bro. There's a place here called Erotica, bro. Like, I was chilling outside, smoking a weed, and this one, I don't even know what she is, man. She's something, right? She's something, right? Like, maybe Japanese, maybe half Thai, or maybe something, I don't know, yeah. She's Asian, right? Let's just put it that way, right? She's Asian, right? Bro. Like, I just looked at her, and I was like, but I don't even know why, but and obviously, man, just scoped in and like I wasn't really feeling for her, but I just like she looks like something. She looks like there was something there, but I just couldn't ascertain. But if I could hit it, I don't know what that would be like, but I just had a feeling that that would be like that would taste good in terms of like, you know, as a sexual fantasy. She seemed like a sexual aphrodisiac in my viewpoint. Yeah, so there's chicks there, and then there's chicks different places because this you got some in like Twister, you got some in like all these other places that are there, right? Just chicks, but like obviously you can't just go in and vibe, fam, because I don't know, I didn't feel that comfortable to be able to just sit down and just like not even have it, like, you know, not like, you know, like, you know, I like to take breaks between drinks, thinking like, even if it's like 10-20 minutes, think I can just sit, or even 15 minutes, you know, after I've had at least 2 drinks in a place, yeah, if I can just sit down for like 10 minutes, yeah, without a drink for a minute, yeah, that'd be comfortable because niggas can just relax, you know, and if there's women there doing whatever they're doing, like strip club settings, it is what it is. God damn, man, nigga, just, you know, it's been some distance in time. Let a nigga vibe, you know. That's what a nigga saying out in this bitch, man. You know. Yeah, man. So for me, that was that, bro. Like, man, just be in them that, but obviously, man, I ain't nasty. You know, I ain't indulged in anything like that. Well, I mean, I've got stories, but some shit I think I'm gonna keep private for now. Yeah, yeah, let's I'll keep some things private in terms of like, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, I ain't indulged in anything like that. But definitely, I like the place that I went to visit, which I call my enhanced augmented reality section. The technology is a bit off. Let's sidetrack the technology a bit here. But for me, that's what my VR experience advanced to, like that's what it evolved to, apart from other shit, or not even evolved to, but that's what it advanced to from my viewpoint. Yeah, man. Hey, like, it's all right, cuz he's saying, you know, shit change, man. Shit, reality changes. Obviously, I don't want to impose too much because I can't speak about things that I can't speak about things that I don't know, no things that I don't have an understanding of, you know. And there's a lot of propaganda that's quite limited actually, online, but there's things online that I don't, you know. So I can't really delve too deep into the. I can't delve too much or too deep into the realm of things, but you know, you got to be careful about what people might understand. But a lot of people, you know, would say things about stuff, these good things and bad things. From my viewpoint, you know, it's a vibe. Uh, Definitely, there's been a better intake in terms of availability of food in some sense. You know, I definitely say food is improved. Cannabis somewhat expensive to a degree, but I think that comes with the area. So in different places you can get it for a bad price, and if you look really well, you can find a decent street vendor who can, if you're willing enough to be explorative. But yeah, man, I think it's a vibe. I definitely, yeah, man, that's pretty much it, really. But hey, man, these chicks out here, man. Even though you obviously got to keep your wits about you and just understand what the situation and the terms of agreements are and stuff like that. But I think niggas, if you actually take some time and you actually come here for that, you may have a good time. You know, I can say that because for me, yeah, this VR place, cause the first time, like each time I've gone there, I've seen something, but nothing worse as the first time. The first time was horrible, fam. Yeah, it's just like, but yeah, but obviously everywhere else, and that you really get to sample and understand what's around, and then the formalities in regards to the terms of agreement and stuff like that, or like the terms of the operational terms and stuff like that. that's all variable at the end of the day that you can ultimately determine. Like I said, you read stuff online and you hear stuff elsewhere. So, I would say, just vibe with it, man. I say just vibe with it, man. And I'm not gonna give like a tour around the place. I'm just talking right now because obviously the aspectual thing that I came to talk about in here is just like my experience of this time process, which I think that was something that I've been holding or hoping to get of value. But yeah, man, that's that pretty much. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a different place for sure. Different place. Like we were talking before, or at least I was chatting before about like, what can coral, like coral in the water, in the sea you have coral like seaweed and stuff like that, like coral reefs and stuff like that. Can they become trees? Is that possible? And if so, how long would that possibly take? Like, how long does a tree take to grow? There's some trees that have been around for like many years, bro. So wait, I don't know, man. But like I said, I can't really speak too much. It takes a while for things to digest and crunch out to the proper level and proper value. But overall, man, I'm ultimately gassed. Well, not gassed per se, but I would say, man, you know what? It's definitely an intrigue, and I wish I could explore more, but I need more dough, though. And then I even talked about how the funds are working at the moment, which is kind of skiffy. But I definitely feel like I have a limited time frame in terms of how long I can exist in this particular environment. But I think that it'll be a favorable one to try to further explore avenues at a later date with a better plan. Because for me at the moment, the way it works is it just happened like like there was a bunch of things going on. Story I haven't talked about, and it might take me a while to actually talk about. But a bunch of things are going on, and then next thing I know, it's just like like in traffic lights. Yeah, you know how you hit the traffic lights sometimes. They go boop 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 boop. And that was pretty much what happened. I didn't really have a choice in regards to a lot of it. So so hoping to see, understand, and glean more for better insights regarding it. And yeah, man, like I said before, right? A lot of people, I don't know. I tweet about like the more things in life that I'm disappointed in regarding other biological organisms and just people who take abuse of people, who manipulate people in their sleep, in terms of like, when people are basically unwise or unknowledgeable to the things that are happening around us. We trust our governments and those we honor, those we trust with our being to make the correct decisions on our behalf and things like that, etc., and all that type of stuff. The people that govern us, we put our trust in them for the most part. And for me, I think that there's definitely in this world a lot that I don't know. So I just trust academic institutions. I just trust other such people to be a guide. But not only that, right? Even in the general public, there's usually people that have more knowledge than you, that have more understanding than you. And that's why people ultimately get scammed or people get ripped off and things like that. So for me, it's like that, and I do express a bit of that because I think that I see and I know and I have knowledge of some of these bad things that have happened to people. But at the same time, like I always say before, I'm somewhat grateful because I believe that the smartest people around got together and came to a conclusive understanding of what the best decisions are in order to progress in some aspectual notion. And also I think that that's the reason why cities and things like that came into being, is because people came together in that conclusive understanding. But again, that's away from everything else. So sometimes you might hear me tweet about one or two things, and that's just because of things that I've seen in the past or within that time period of that gap that ultimately hurt my being or make me feel somewhat disappointed, and that these things like that. But again, the world is a terrible place, and like I was saying before, like a lot of bad things could happen to me, and I'll still keep pushing forwards towards whatever goal that I feel is a necessity. But don't ever underestimate or undermine, you know, I don't know. I just say other people for the most part. For me, I'm just like I said, I have that awareness, and so I move with it because, I know that I'm not as aware as I could be, and I'm not as knowledgeable about things as I could be, right? And I've always known this, and I think that because of my experience in that, because of my experience in that belief, in that belief is simply that I have found that this strategy has definitely had good bits and negative bits in my life, but I find it to have more positives than it has had negatives, right? So I can then just fix some of the negatives or find ways to work around those negatives, and then hopefully the strategy will yield more of those positives in the long run. And then with the negatives that I then have resolved or have gained a better understanding of, I'll be able to increase the likelihood of aspectual success regarding things that I'm yet to understand in my current thought process. But as always, we endeavor on we endeavor onwards. But yeah, man, I'll give feedback about these things later on, depending on how the situation turns out. It's a bit hazy at the moment. Things are a bit, it's getting a bit gray area right now. So we'll feedback later about things. But yeah, no, because obviously the VR thing was one thing that one was really, into the last couple of times. So yeah, so it's intrigue, man. Definitely intrigued. But yeah, and I also let you know if I find a spot where you can just, have that kind of vibe where you can just relax for a minute with whatever drink that you got, and that, like, maybe if they say okay, cool, you can chill, but just like, because I understand you gotta buy something, you can't just go in and just sit down, but you got and niggas just chill. So if I find a spot and I find one that's good, like a bar, but like with like interesting women scattered around, if you know what I mean. No, not interesting in terms of but whatever. But yeah, if I find a place like that, I'll be sure to feedback and give some information where you can just relax without having to stress too much, and you can have a few drinks. If they find whatever, I'll try to talk to people as well, find out if there's oh yeah, well, you gotta buy at least, you can come sit down, but you gotta buy at least, three, maybe 4 drinks or whatever, just relax or whatever, 3 drinks or so, somewhere like that, at a aspect of price, it would be good. But then there's also places, right? So besides that, there's actually good places where you can actually, I found 1 or 2. For me, definitely one place where you can go and sit down and just chill and just drink, no stress. No, because I like to smoke, right? I like to smoke, and I like to hold a little drink for a minute or two. So I know one place that's actually really good, but they ain't women like that. It's you come on your own, and you come with someone with you, whatever. But it's an amazing atmosphere for me. I like it. I went there one of the first time I've been here. So that was pretty good. And then yeah, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, we'll expand a little bit more about these social relations. I think it's definitely important regarding time. But I think for me, or maybe I might not expand more on that because I don't think that's not really my key focus at the moment. But yeah, it's pretty much it, really. You definitely love the food though, because I know I do for the most for the most part. But yeah, hope you enjoyed, and sayonara for now.